The Start, Stop, Continue process was first developed by Phil Daniels, a psychology professor at Brigham Young University. It's often used in corporate settings, particularly for teams working on large or complex projects. However, I first came across this process on Mel Robbins' podcast, where she shared that her family does the exercise together every new year. But you can do this exercise at any time. I personally use it when I'm feeling overwhelmed or when things aren't going as expected. It helps me to review and simplify my approach, reduce any anxiety and feel more centered again. Here I'm sharing how this tool can work for you as a purpose-driven individual and how it can be adapted to guide new community groups, small charities or social entrepreneurs on their journey. When I first did this exercise, I got to the end and felt like something was missing. There were things I wanted to include that felt relevant, but didn't quite fit into the start, stop or continue categories. So I added another column for change. These were things where I saw potential, or things I wanted to work but weren't quite working yet. They needed adapting or testing before I could confidently decide whether they should fall under continue or stop. I've created a template that you can use for this exercise. I'll go through it using a couple of examples. Example 1 will be someone with an idea to make a difference in their community. Imagine that they want to bring together local volunteers to clear the litter that's built up along a popular public footpath. And example 2 will be for a small but growing charity delivering creative workshops in care homes. Start. Focus on actions, ideas or strategies that will move your project forward. These are the things you haven't yet done, but will be key to getting your next chapter off the ground. Here are some prompts to get you started. Who do I need to reach out to? For the litter projects, this might be local organisations, community leaders or potential volunteers that you can connect with. For creative workshops, it might be local care homes, wellbeing boards and GP surgeries. What resources do I need? For the litter project, this might be litter pickers, gloves, safety equipment and promotional materials. For creative workshops, it might be materials for workshops such as paints, art supplies, musical instruments, plus volunteers and also funding for supplies and travel. How can I start raising awareness or gathering support? For the litter project, this might be local social media, through flyers, speaking to local businesses, or engaging in community groups to recruit volunteers. For the creative workshops, it might be to use social media, the local press, or care home networks to publicise the workshops and connect with volunteers or donors. Stop. Identify actions or habits that are hindering progress or wasting time. These are the things that aren't serving your project and need to be stopped to make room for more impactful actions. Here are some prompts. What's not working in my current approach? For the litter project, maybe the previous outreach methods haven't attracted enough volunteers or local business support. For the creative workshops, perhaps they're still using outdated communication methods with care homes and not getting any response. Am I spending too much time on unimportant tasks? For the litter project, this might be overcomplicating the planning or spending excessive time on small, unimportant details. With creative workshops, it might be getting stuck on admin tasks like too much paperwork that could be simplified. Is there anything causing confusion or miscommunication? With the litter project, it might be that the volunteer sign-up forms are unclear, or there's miscommunication around where and when to meet for the clean-up event. With creative workshops, it might be the process of coordinating with care homes or managing volunteers, which might be unclear or inconsistent. Continue. Focus on actions or strategies that are already working well and bringing value to your project. These are the things that are helping move your efforts forward and should be maintained or even built upon. Here are some prompts. What's already generating interest or support? For the litter project, perhaps a local school or business has offered to sponsor the cleanup or provide volunteers. For creative workshops, perhaps the workshops have received some positive feedback or a care home is asking for more sessions. Which partnerships or collaborations are working well? The litter project might have strong partnerships with local businesses or environmental groups that help in the cleanup efforts. For the creative workshops, they might have a connection with a local art group or volunteer organisation that's been particularly supportive. What methods have helped you to keep organised or motivated? With the Litter project, perhaps they've been using a simple project management tool or social media groups to keep track of progress and communicate with volunteers. For the creative workshops, they might be using a scheduling tool or volunteer management system to help keep them on track. Change. Consider areas that need action or improvement. These are things that aren't working yet or could be made more efficient. These require testing or tweaking before deciding whether they should be continued or stopped. Here are some prompts. What aspects of the project could be more efficient or effective? With the Litter project, they might be able to streamline the process for coordinating volunteers or handling waste disposal. For the creative workshops, there might be ways to make the workshops more engaging or impactful for the residents. Are there any tools or methods that aren't quite fitting? With the Litter project, it might be the current volunteer sign-up system that isn't working, or they're not getting enough reach with their promotional materials. With the creative workshops, they might be thinking that there's a better communication platform to connect with care homes or to manage contact with staff and follow up with residents. What's not gaining as much traction as expected? For the Litter project, maybe your social media posts aren't getting enough attention, or the turnout for clean-up events hasn't been as high as hoped. With the creative workshops, the outreach to potential volunteers or care homes might have been slower than expected, and it's worth thinking about how that can be improved. You can download the template below, and once you've answered these questions, take a moment to reflect on your responses. Let them guide you towards a simple action plan and clear next steps that feel realistic and aligned with your goals. Once you've completed it, I'd love to hear how you found the process and if it helped you make any changes or decisions. And if you want to create a positive impact through a charity, social enterprise, community group or meaningful project, you can find my free resources on Substack and YouTube, take an online course on Udemy, or work with me directly.